What's up guys, DuArktik with another Marvel Strike Force video, and in this video we come from the dark side and we're gonna talk about minions. Yes, your favorite topic. We're gonna talk about minions, and specifically we're going to take a look at the AIM minions. I started to invest a little bit on these characters because according to the rumors, according with the leaks, according with the information that we have available out there, there will be no rework to the minions. There is no new character, with Titania being the last character being released next patch. That means that there will be no shield rework, there will be no aim rework, there will be no mercenary rework, and there will be no rework at all. So we have to make our decision. We have to start moving forward because the Dead Seed Horseman Archangel with the Death Scourge is coming next week. So whether you like it or not, we'll have to invest on one team. Now, I like the AIM team because of their mechanics. I think they are a fun team. I was like a Graviton and Scientist Supreme, and even that I'm not going to invest on these characters right now. I'll keep an eye in the future because this is a fun team to play for me. Might not be for everyone else. Maybe you are a bigger fan of the way the either team works with Red Skull, or maybe you prefer the Kree with the Philavel and Minerva or something like that. And we also have the shield team. Now Remanex is recommending the shield team. I understand why, because they turn rewind on crit. I'm not sure if they are going to be fast enough for it to be relevant, so I rather focus on something that is a little bit more consistent. Once again, there is no rework, so work on the minions that you like. And AIM is the minions that I like. Now, disclaimer, don't invest on anything until next week, until we know all the nodes, until we know all the enemies, and until we know all of these things. I'm just investing a little bit on these guys to make them playable, so you can see them in action and why I like this team. Because this team was way too low, and my Ravagers, they still have blue gear, so I'm not going to invest on the Ravagers. There are only 3 of them, and that means I would have to invest on other 2 characters anyway. So I would rather invest on a team that is more likely to have a rework, like the AIM or like the shield team with Mockingbird. This is something that has been rumored for a long time. So I rather invest on a team that might get a rework within the next year, rather than invest on a team that was already reworked, and it's very unlikely that they will release new characters to make that team usable once again. So yeah, so we are gonna take a look at some gameplay of the AIM team with Merc LT. Merc LT is probably the best minion in the game. He applies speed up to the allies, also offense up, he also heals, and he also gives energy to himself and to other characters. So I think overall this is going to be the best minion, and that's it. So this is the team I'm going to supposedly invest in case the patch notes are true, in case the patch notes are exactly the way we expect them to be, and there is indeed no rework to any character. Other reason why I like this team is because the centerpiece unique that they use is all extremis, or at least most of them is extremis. So we have AIM Assault with extremis, we have AIM Effector with extremis, then we have AIM Security with Infinity Energy, and we have this one with Gamma Radiation. Gamma Radiation is not the best, but to be honest, the AIM Security or the AIM Researcher, she's fine with lower gear compared to the other characters, so it's not going to be a big deal. And Merc LT uses Emertech, if I remember correctly. Yeah, exactly, Emertech. So he's probably be another character that is going to be easy to invest in. This team requires a little bit of T-Force in order to make them going. It requires a total of 3 T-Force for the entire team of the AIM. Merc LT, you can use all the T-Force if you want, the basic, the special, and the ultimate. If you do the T-Force, they are decent, but this character is not very useful right now, so just focus on what's really important. And with that said, I also like this team because we have two support characters, we have one blaster, we have one controller, and we have one protector. So in case you want to invest ISO weight on these characters, then it's not going to be a huge problem, because most of the ISO weight is going to be around support characters, which is great. Now, what else can we talk about? So the goals for my team and my expectations of gear to have when the Death Scourge starts is going to be gear tier 14 and level 75. This will allow me to also use the ISO weight blue, and I think the aim team together with the Scourges that give more negative effects, which is going to be great for this team, and also with the 30% stats boost, I think that's going to be good enough with the gear tier 14 in order to do the difficulty 7 or difficulty 8 of the Death Scourge with a few Scourges as well. So yeah, that's the focus that I'm going to do. It's going to be the aim team. I have mentioned this in the past. This is because I like the type of gameplay of this team. It might not be the case for you, but I'm sure that within the next 2 weeks we'll know the different options that we have available, because remember that the Death Scourge, the first run, it lasts for like 10 days or 12 days, so you'll have more than enough time to watch different content creators and then decide based on your red stars or based on what you have available in terms of centerpiece, uniques and so on, to see which characters you want to focus on. Okay, so with that said, let's take just a quick look of the teams, why I like this team. So whenever you do her special, she's going to apply slow to herself, and she applies taunt, so that means the taunt is going to last for a lot longer, and she also heals adjacent characters, which is great. Then we have aim effector is going to apply counters to himself and adjacent allies. This is going to be aim security and aim assault, which is going to apply more slows and more bleeds to the enemies. He also gives turn meter to himself 75%, and he also heals himself. He applies negative effects to the enemies, including offense down, defense down, and slow, which is very powerful. And any negative effects that he has on himself is going to be able to flip them on that Scourge. Then we have aim assault. Because of the T4 on his passive, whenever he has a turn, he's going to get a turn meter to adjacent characters next to him. This is going to be aim effector and aim researcher. Aim researcher, whenever she has a turn, she's going to give buffs to the team, so you can see the point of that. And on his special, even without T4, he's going to give tons and tons of speed up buffs to himself, allowing him to go super fast. With his basic, he does damage, but he also applies bleeds, so that's going to be one more source of damage. Finally, we have aim researcher, as I just mentioned. When the faster she goes, the more buffs she's going to apply to the team, and whenever a negative effect is applied to an aim character, any negative effect, she's going to get additional turn meter. So even that she has a slow speed, because she's going to get turn bar all the time, and because aim assault is going to give her turn bar all the time, that means she's going to be applying buffs to the enemies, she's going to be healing up the team, and she's also going to be applying offense down to the enemies, which will protect your team. Finally, we have Mark LT is going to give speed up, is going to give offense up, making our team damage output way higher, making our team way faster with all that turn meter and also the speed up. And he's also able to apply some healing. We're just going to keep him in the corner because he is the only character that is not aim, so you're going to try to protect him as much as possible. Okay, so this is the team. Let's take a look at some gameplay of this team in action, and then you'll see why I like this team so much. Once again, you might prefer the Remnant suggestion with the shield team, because whenever they crit, they turn rewind the enemies. You might prefer the either team because they give buffs to each other on the stats if you have them all together, or you might prefer the crit team because they get a lot of energy. So depend on your play style, but I think the aim team is just a more consistent team because it doesn't rely on any RNG, and RNG is never fun on this game. Okay, so here we go. Let's take a look at the aim team in action. This is on Dark Dimension 1, and of course if you are using characters at low level, it has to be Dark Dimension 1, but I expect these characters to be able to do Dark Dimension 2, maybe even Dark Dimension 3 if you have them geared up enough. And then it's all about getting that speed up and getting the negative effects on your team. Once again, the more negative effects on your team you have, the faster they will go. Now with Murky LT is going to give speed up for everyone, and then you just have to focus on the right characters. Those Black Panthers that we have on the enemy side, we are going to apply offense down to them so they give less damage to us. Then you have Strange Supreme, we are going to kill him first because we don't want him to flip the positive effects to negative effects on us, and we also don't want him to revive characters. Then you can see Murky LT giving energy to himself and also giving energy to other characters, allowing you to use the abilities more often. We keep spreading those offense downs to multiple characters because we want to survive, right? So that's pretty much it. Like, as you can see, the team is very fast, the team is very consistent, and the damage output is not like the best because you only have Aim Effector and Aim Assaulter doing most of the damage, but it's still doing fine because they are so much faster than the enemies. And if you can apply slow to them with Aim Effector, that's going to be even more convenient for you because the amount of turn meter you get is just massive. Okay, so as you can see, we got that Strange Supreme down, then we got the first Black Panther, now we're gonna take down the second Black Panther. You also have to be careful with the way you play with Aim Assault. You only want to use this special whenever you have negative effects on yourself or whenever you need to replenish that speed up. As you can see, you get like 4 turns of speed up, so this is not a problem unless the speed up is removed from you. In case it's removed, then yeah, you have to replenish it once again, but I think that's obvious. So look at the amount of buffs that this team has. Death Proof, Defense Up, Speed Up, Offense Up, tons and tons of regens. This team, in my opinion, is going to be great because look at the turn meter she's getting. Keep paying attention. Whenever it has a spike here, you see, she got turn meter. Now you're going to get negative effects from that guy, more turn meter. And this is without the T-Force. This is without the essential T-Force on Aim Researcher. Because when you do the T4 on her passive, she's going to get 20% turn meter rather than just 10% turn meter. And you also need the T4 on the special of Aim Researcher, if I remember correctly. I already have infographic about this, I can show you after. But if you do the T4 for this guy, you are also going to get additional counters. So you can see that right now we are not getting counters all the time. This is because the kit of this guy has a bug. You can only apply the counters if you have the T4. It's ridiculous. If you have like a level 5 ability, you get counters, level 6 you don't get counters, and then on level 7 you get counters again. It's very messed up, but yeah, typical Scopely. Okay, so look at all those buffs. Deflects, the death proof, speed up, more defense up, more death proofs, more everything. So I don't know what to tell you. In my opinion, this is the team that has the least amount of RNG. Of course, if you have the Ravagers, they are decent. They got reworked recently. But these guys, their stats is on par with the Ravagers, even that they didn't got reworked recently. And once again, in terms of RNG, this is the team with the least amount of RNG. And even when we are facing big characters like Hulk, they are still doing fine because of the negative effects that they apply. Now instead of Black Panthers, we have double Gamora, so we are going to apply offense down to both of those Gamoras to reduce their damage, and then we are going to slow the characters that are annoying to us, which is like OG Spider-Man or the other Gamora or something like that. You just have to, you just have to play the game, right? You just have to use strategies, you just have to use your negative effects and positive effects in order to give you advantage on defeating the enemy. So you can see, like, we keep going, the team has no problems healing. Once again, look at the levels of the characters, level 65, level 54, some of them as well. No massive red stars, no massive gear or anything like that. All ISO 8 level 1 or level 0. Most of the characters, I think they have actually 0 ISO 8 in them. I think only Aim Assault is like level 1. And I'm very happy with the performance of this team. Once again, I like them because they have 0 RNG and because they have so much turn meter. And once again, It's just the way I like to play. Zero RNG, a lot of turn meter, a lot of buffs, a lot of negative effects to apply to the enemies, and after that it's all focusing on the right characters, and then you're going to be able to destroy them sooner or later. Maybe it's not going to be the fastest team with the highest damage output or anything like that, but I find it to be the most consistent team. Okay, so here we have the infographic for the A minions. This is still first impressions. I still have to wait for the patch to see if indeed there will be zero changes or not, but this is what I'm expecting. So we have aim assault requires the T4 on the passive, and the T4 on the basic, it's okay. Once again, this is only if you are like trying to get a top 1000, top 500 or something like that. Striker ISO 8 for additional bleeds and for additional damage. Then uses the extremis as unique. Then with aim effector you need that T4 on the special, as I mentioned, so he gets more turn meter and also more counters because of the bug on the ability. I think the best option is going to be the skirmisher ISO 8. It could also be a striker, but then you don't have enough skirmishers to go around, and this will allow him to always apply the negative effects to the enemies. He also uses extremis, so this is a good thing. Then we have aim monstrosity. I'm not expecting to use aim monstrosity. He has a decent amount of damage output, but low viability. I don't really like his abilities. He would be another striker, and I don't want another striker. He also uses extremis, so yeah, it's okay, but I prefer aim assault overall because of the additional turn meter. And then we have aim researcher. Definitely do the T4 on passive, and the healer ISO 8 is going to be the best option because she does massive healing with her abilities, and she uses the gamma radiation, so of course you have to be careful because you also have to get up your gamma team. Finally, we have aim security. She doesn't require any T4s, and that's great. She is going to use probably the skirmisher ISO 8. The healer ISO 8 would also be nice because she does healing with her ultimate ability, but I don't think it's necessary because we are also going to use Merc LT, and he also provides some healing. So I think the skirmisher is going to be the best option, and as I said before, she uses infinity energy, and there are not many characters right now that are like important in terms of infinity energy. And then we have the position of the characters. I think this is going to be the best position, so from the right to the left, aim security, aim effector, aim assaulter, and aim researcher. And we are not going to use aim monstrosity, that's why he's blanked out, and we are going to use instead the Merc LT for additional speed, additional damage, additional energy, and also additional healing. And with that said, I think this is going to be the best team for the upcoming Dead Scourge, for the Minion section, because it has the least amount of RNG. So once again, it's going to be based on your playstyle, or it's going to be based on if you like Hydra, or if you like Shield, or if you like whatever, Kree. If you like Kree, that's fine too. If you already geared up your Ravagers and you want to invest just in a few on the Mercenaries, that's fine too. This is what I expect to do. It's very, very unlikely that I will change my mind unless there is something crazy on the blog post tomorrow, on the patch notes or whatever, that completely changes the dynamic of the information we have right now. But from what we know, there will not be any Minion rework, and at the end of the day, that's going to be a good thing, because that means you'll be able to gear up whichever team you like. Once again, I like them because they have the least amount of RNG and they have the highest amount of turn meter. So yeah guys, that's gonna be the video. I hope you guys enjoy it. Once again, don't gear up these characters. You have 10 to 12 days. Wait for me, other content creators, and whales to go through the Dead Scourge first, and then you make your decision. Oh, I'm going to invest on this team because I saw that guy and the team looked fun. Oh, I'm going to invest on this team because I saw that guy and it had the least amount of RNG and it was like a super cookie cutter. And so you have time. Don't panic, don't stress out. I'm just giving you an example, and I'm just giving you my mindset while approaching these upcoming Death Scourge Scourge for Archangels. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to smash that like button, and if you found the video helpful, make sure to share it to your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you are new to my channel, make sure to subscribe for more Marvel Strike Force content, and I will catch you guys later in the dark side.